Good morning, and welcome to Universal Spirit Center. I'm Kevin Busey, and it is my real joy to welcome you this morning to our Sunday gathering. And that was Linda Ely. We just acknowledge Linda for her beautiful music, always. And so I welcome you this morning. So I invite you to just have your favorite mug or your cup of tea or cup of coffee and just join us this morning. To just take a deep breath in. Let your heart open. Take that journey from the mind right into the spaciousness of the heart. I want to especially welcome any of you this morning who join us for the first time. We're so glad that you're with us. So if you join us for the first time, please click us on our website, contact us, and you could contact us, let us know that you're new, and we'll make sure you're on our weekly newsletter. Also, isn't it great to see everyone's pics at the beginning before we start? It's really great to see everyone's faces. I certainly miss you. And so I invite you to send in more pictures so we can have pics of all of our community members and congregants. All right, and so I invite you to just take a deep breath. And our music this morning is Gino and Tim, and so we welcome them. So to start it off this morning is Gino.
Good morning, Universal Spirit Center. No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place that you can take comfort in the knowing. If you come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come on, let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come on, let's pray together. Come loved and be loved. To the doubt, to the turned out, from the passion to the confused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, these doors are open to you. That's right, the doors are open right now. So this is time to get your watch party together, to share with family and friends on Facebook. Yes, we're on YouTube too. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? And on our webpage as well, you can chat with those you haven't seen in a long time or that you catch up on the last week. So we're coming together. We're coming together as a community. We are coming together in the world. Oh, yeah. Take a look at the person next to you. Recognize the God in you. Love in your sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Woo! Come on, feel it. Take a look at the person next to you. I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in your sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, for every walk of life, every breed and color, we will celebrate life. And honor all the God in each other. Oh, now look at the person next to you. Say namaste. I bow to you. Feel the love in your sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love.
Gino, our music director. We love Gino, and we came in this morning to film, and Gino lovingly and enthusiastically reminded me or informed me that today is her 1-year anniversary as music director at our center. 1 year. So we just said special shout out to Gino. Special shout out for all of the love and the excitement that Gino brings to our center. You know, really, to know Gino is to know Gino. No. To know Gino is to love Gino. She's really a loving, enthusiastic, fun spirit. So I want to specifically acknowledge some of the things that she has brought to our center. She created and maintains and runs Awakening Wednesdays. Every Wednesday night, she's here just filming it and making sure it's a very powerful spiritual experience for us. So I invite you to that if you've not attended. She also does movie night. She and Viraj Ward facilitate movie night one night a month, last Friday of the month. But we love you, Gino. We love all of the things that you bring to us. So thanks for making our music so powerful. Gino Walker! There she is. Gino. All right. So now I want to share with you that I'm thinking about doing Foundations for Spiritual Living. It's the introductory level course for our teachings. It's a powerful experience. It really is. Anyone who's taking it that I know of through the years would highly recommend it. It's life-changing. And so we're going to do it actually in 2 ways. We're going to do it on Zoom. For those of you who maybe don't feel comfortable coming together or live far away, you can join us, virtual community. And then we're going to have a handful of folks gather together. It's actually going to be in my backyard. I have a big backyard, and we feel that it's going to be safe enough. So we're going to do both Zoom and in person. So if you're interested in this, we're trying to determine the interest level. If you're interested, email Lee at leeuniversalspiritcenter.org. Lee at universalspiritcenter.org. It will start on Wednesdays towards the end of September. So let us know. Let us know if you're interested. Also, as most of you probably know, all of the financial support that you give to us, we give out 10% of that to agencies or people that continue the work of love on our planet. And I think we failed to mention July's recipients of our Global Heart Tithe. So we had 2 of them. We had Feeding San Diego, which is providing nutritious meals for children throughout the county during this time of COVID. It's a very, very honorable, very needed work. And so we did that for them. We gave them, I think it was $1,000. As well as there's a New Thought ministry prison outreach. And a lot of these men and women are in seclusion right now because of COVID. And so we gave to this prison outreach ministry, New Thought Prison Outreach Ministry, so that they could provide written materials for those inmates that are in seclusion. Certainly an extremely worthy cause. So I wanted to let you know about that. And I think that's it for my announcements. So our beloved Gino has the rest of the announcements for this morning. Gino.
Thank you, my beloved Reverend Kevin. Father art thou. Good morning, community, again. And the announcements today. This Wednesday, Awakening Wednesday, we have our wonderful, beautiful Dormini. that will be doing Wisdom of the Body. How awesome is that? 6:30 to 7:30. You got to come check it out. Sarah will be behind the scenes operating things, and Corey will join them this Wednesday. So please come and gather. And our Racial Equality Project, we know we have a few things going on. This next Friday is our movie, Strong Island, a powerful movie that I know all of you will want to see. We'll do a Netflix watch party. So we'll send out the link and everyone can join. And then afterwards, we will meet in our Zoom community and unpack it, unload it, talk about it, and converse with it. Also, the Zoom community room that takes place before and after Sunday gatherings, and also nightly at 7 p.m. It's a wonderful way of staying connected to all that is and being involved. We also want to make sure that this week, I believe one of the call to actions will be our Letters for Black Lives. That's part of the Racial Equality Project. And Letters for Black Lives, it's a beautiful template and a way of opening up conversations to family members, to loved ones, that will allow you to lovingly create this beautiful space to communicate with. So really powerful. Go onto our webpage. You'll be able to download it. You can change it up and add a few things. But one of the things when you read this letter that you will become aware of, that it is really a space of love and communication. It's inviting the love in. And then also our YouTube. So please subscribe. We're over 100 subscribers now. YouTube is a wonderful way for our community to meet, to chat with one another. And so go check us out on our YouTube. It is awesome. You can share with your family and friends. Sometimes you can't watch it right then and there, but you can always come back because it's always recorded on YouTube and on our Facebook page and our webpage. Everything that we stream on Sunday and Wednesday, always recorded, always there. And I think that's it for me with announcements. So as we get ready, take the breath. And we're getting ready to go into within. And we bring our beautiful practitioner, Sherry Gennard, to take us on this divine journey.
Oh, good morning, beloveds. And without knowing it, I matched my green screen to fit in with aren't those backdrops beautiful? So let us just take these next few moments to go within, to have that quiet time of connecting with soul and with one another, with nature if you wish. And I invite you to take a few gentle breaths in and just relax. This is a safe space. I'll be doing a brief reading. We'll have some moments of silence and then a prayer for our meditative time. And so now here are words from our founder, the founder of Science of Mind and Spirit, Ernest Holmes. And Dr. Holmes writes, "Love is within us. It cannot be destroyed. It can be ignored. To the extent that we abandon love, we will feel that it has abandoned us. Denying love is our only problem, and embracing it is the only answer. Through the power of love, we can let go of past history and begin again. Love heals, forgives, and makes whole. Yes, love heals, forgives, and makes whole." I invite you to close your eyes. and take that into the silence. How good it is to be in the sweet spot of the universe, in the arms of the Spirit, in that energy. Together we are all one in love. Love in that place that knows no opposition. This love that just comes from within, pours in and through us like a mighty fountain, like that picture of that waterfall. God's love just pours into us. And it is this love that is so needed in the world right here and right now. And I know that I and each beautiful soul here, online, wherever you are watching this now or on the recording, that we are all droplets of that waterfall, of that love of the divine, reaching out to a wounded world that just so needs that nourishing, refreshing water of love, that life that we bring to it. And I know that there is just a togetherness, and that through this we have freedom. We have a freedom to vote, to make our ways known. We have the freedom to choose to follow in the path of the divine. And so I'm grateful for this space, this time together, and know that all participants, the people behind the scenes on the video, Reverend Kevin and his inspiring word, inspired by that divine spark, for the music of Gino and Linda, for all the people setting up, for Corey, and for each of you that make this beautiful community possible. So knowing that we are settled into this divine love, no, not settled, but prodded, but to move forward. I know it is good and very good. And release into that love, now and always.
hide away. They say we don't want your broken parts. I learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Hide away, they say no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, gonna send a flood, gonna drown 'em out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Another round of bullets hits my skin. Well, fire away, 'cause today I won't let the pain seep in. We are bursting through the barricades, reaching for the sun. We are warriors, yes, that's what we become. I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are warriors. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, gonna send a flood, gonna drown it out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. Oh, 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 I know that I deserve your love. There's nothing in this life I'm not worthy of. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, gonna send a flood, gonna drown 'em out. I am bruised, I am brave. This is who I'm meant to be. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me.
Gino. See, all that stuff I said about her is absolutely true, right? Whoa, what a great song. And Tim helped out with that, and then again, Linda Ely, as always. Oh. So I'm about 5 feet from Gino, 6 feet on the stage, and I'm just feeling a little energetic, but the energy coming right over this way. Wow. Let's just take a breath on that one. So I want to share this photo with you here. This is the waterfall I think Sherry was referring to earlier. It's from a backpacking trip that I did in the Sierras, and I think it's the West Sierras, but I'm not really sure. I don't remember which trip it was. But isn't that beautiful? It's just so nice. Yeah, it's very beautiful. All right. Thanks for joining us this morning, and glad you're with us. Miss you guys, I really do. So this last week, I was on a Zoom call with a friend of mine. We met socially through Zoom, and she and I have been friends since we were young teenagers. And she's the type of person that you don't see for a few months, maybe a year, but then when you connect, you just take right up, from where you left behind. Many of you probably have friends like that as well. We share a lot in common. We're both, active on the spiritual path, and both pretty progressive. And are thinking, you know what? I forgot to mention something. I want to give a special shout out to Lori Martin, because Lori came in here in the heat of all this that's going on and moved our stage from the small stage onto the floor with Gino. So she's given us a lot more room, and it's set up really nicely. So Lori, thanks for doing that. I know it was a really hot day when you and Gino moved all that. All right, so it's never inappropriate for gratitude, right? So I wanted to get that shout out. So anyway, we were talking on the other through Zoom the other day about how we're doing, and it's the first time I spoke with her since the pandemic. And she was talking about the struggle that she's experiencing, the whole Black Lives Matters energy, which she's and I articulated the lack of leadership in our country right now in terms of through Black Lives Matter and the pandemic. And she starts talking about how she felt so heavy and frustrated and confused and is struggling. And as I was listening to her, and she lives in Northern California, by the way, so to top it all up with the fires, I was listening to her, and I'm like, you know what? The fact of the matter is a lot is going on right now. A lot's going on. And many of these things, we don't know when they're going to end. So I think it's important for us to just take a breath and realize there's a lot that's going on that could be making us really agitated or stressed or anxious or depressed. So just acknowledge that right now for you, a lot's going on. A lot's going on. And give yourself some compassion, some space, maybe some acknowledgement for all that you're doing through this time. I think it's important for us to just be aware of the impact that all of these things are having on us. I was at a grocery store the other day, and a woman went off on a clerk, and I didn't exactly see that the interaction would happen, but I thought, our tempers feel so short with all that's going on. So anyway, later that night after we had that conversation, as I was getting ready to go to sleep, I thought, what if nothing changes? What if it's always gonna be like this? And I have to tell you, at that moment, I was filled with dread and with panic. And that statement, what if things never change? Isn't that the statement we've heard ourselves say before at various times in our lives? The statement that really does lead to hopelessness, to dread, to depression, to helplessness, to a sense of victimhood. That's a statement that when it is said, nothing will ever change. It's important to pay attention to that statement. It's important. So I'm going to talk more about that later. But that should be a red flag for us. So I know I say this a lot. I know I say it a lot. But I say it a lot because it's the work that we're called to do. We're called to look at those places within us that feel like it will never change. Look at those places within us that feel hopeless or despairing or feel separate or disfranchised or excluded or not enough. It's imperative that you and I do the work necessary to create a spaciousness and a compassion to welcome in all those parts. And here's why it's so important, and here's why I say it so frequently on Sundays. It's because we're called to make whole. We're called, you and I are called on this spiritual path to bring parts together that are separate, or that are in conflict, or alienated. And we're called first to make whole within ourselves. Because if we don't make whole within ourselves, if we keep parts separated and isolated and disenfranchised and rejected and abandoned, then that is what you and I are going to project out in the outer world. That's what we're going to project. We're going to project separateness and rejection and abandonment and despair. So it's really imperative that you and I make whole all of those parts within us. Bring them together in compassion and spaciousness and in loving welcome. So then that is what not only we reflect on the outside, but we're able to give that same loving, generous welcome to those in our life or those that we come in contact with that feel isolated and alone and afraid. This is our work to make whole. You know, I've been thinking this last week. I've been still thinking about that story that I shared with you last week, the prodigal son. I kind of renamed it the prodigal one. And what I talked about last week is that story really points to the story that Jesus shared in the Gospels, the prodigal son. That story really points to three aspects within ourselves. That aspect within myself that says, right now isn't good enough. It's going to be better over there. It's going to be better in the future. Or it's going to be better when things change, right? So that voice within us. Then that second voice within us that judges things as not enough. Judges things as wrong. Judges things as how come you get more than I do? That's the second voice. And then the third voice, that infinite presence that is always welcoming us. And sometimes those first two voices, sometimes they pair up, they partnership. You know, sometimes brothers will do that. They pair up just to antagonize, like if there's like a sister, right? The two guys pair up and antagonize a sister. Sometimes these voices pair up. And maybe they're one voice in us. And maybe the voice is this. It says, it will be better when I have more. That's the two voices of those brothers coming together. It will be better when I have more. And we might be able to relate to that. More time, more freedom, more love, more money, more space, whatever it is. It will be better when I have more. What that statement is also, however, it's a justification for greed. It's a justification to take what is not ours and claim it for us. It's a justification to marginalize and cast out whole groups of people that might be a threat to me having more. As we've talked about the last couple of months, that's the history of America. We did it when we came to America when we landed in America in terms of the Native Americans. We took what was not ours so that we could have more. I want to pause here. No, let me keep going. So when we look through history, we see time and again, white, straight man have marginalized groups of people so that white, straight man could have more. Now, I'm realizing what I'm saying may cause a reaction in some of you. I simply ask you to look at our history. Just look at our history. Look at the marginalized groups that still today ask simply for equal rights. Now, I'm really not talking here political agenda. Here's what I'm talking about. The directive from Spirit itself to make whole, to bring together those parts in me, those groups in society that have been considered less than and not worthy enough. It's the spiritual directive upon all of us. So I want to go a little bit back to this story again, the prodigal son, the prodigal one. So the second son, when he talks to the father, if you remember, he complains to the father that the father, gave to the son who went away a rich banquet, and he complains to his father, "You've never given me a party for me or my friends. You've never given me a party." Didn't that sound like, when I read that in the scripture, it sounded like the wounded little child. It's the wounded child. You've not given me a party. You've not given my friends a party. It's that wounded one within all of us. So I don't want to make the older brother or that brother like the bad guy. It's the voice within all of us. The voice within us that feels neglected or left out or not enough, right? Here's what the father says to that son. All I have is yours. I mean, think about it. What a statement that is. All I have is yours. Imagine someone saying that to you. I love you so much. You are so important that all I have is yours. That is the generosity of infinite presence. It's the generosity of God's love. It doesn't know reserve or withhold or conditional. And that is our call as well. So take a deep breath here. I apologize. I probably should have asked you to breathe earlier. Taking a breath here. So in psycho-spiritual literature, there's a psychological spiritual literature. There's actually a category of psychological spiritual literature. And it says there's an understanding in the combining of the principles of psychology and spirituality. There's a understanding that all of us at some point in our lives need to hit rock bottom. At some point in our lives, all of us need to fall apart. And specifically, spiritual literature is called the dark night of a soul. It's written throughout that for you and I to call forth, experience our authentic self, there has to be a coming to our knees, a falling apart. There has to be an unraveling. And the reason for that is that as you and I grow, especially in this culture, but as you and I grow, there are aspects of ourselves that are based on we're not good enough, or we need more, or I'm scared and frightened. So we develop, we build these aspects of our personality that block our true selves, that block our authentic self. It's the part of me that always needs to get my way, or that is always right, or I always need attention, or I play the not good enough card, or I'm not worthy card, or I play the angry card, or I play the rebel card. Whatever game those are that we play, whatever defenses that we develop, those parts of ourselves need to become unraveled. Because if they don't, you and I can't access or clearly hear that voice that says, all that I have is yours. You are welcome here. We can't hear it. So we labor under the illusions that we're not enough, or that we have to get our share, or that those people over there are just trying to get what's mine. An unraveling is necessary. I've been listening to stories from indigenous cultures, indigenous people. And they don't have this idea of greed, or this idea of we have to make certain groups in our society better than ours, or certain groups have to do without. That's not prevalent in indigenous societies. Here's what is prevalent in indigenous societies. A deep awareness that we're connected with each other, that we're connected with nature, and that we're connected with Source. That's what their sense of reality is. So my friend who I mentioned earlier that I talked with on Zoom, she and I, and later on in our conversation, talked about how really, right now, we're in the perfect storm. That the pandemic, that the shutdown, and all that happened around that caused us to come home to ourselves. I've talked about that before. Talk to us to need to be present to ourselves. And in that context of the noise and the distractions in our lives being less, right? Being less. When we saw a black man murdered by an officer, it finally got our attention. And so my friend and I talked about how almost the pandemic was necessary for us to take a good, hard look at our behavior. So that's why I say that our nation right now, it seems to me, is going through an unraveling. Boy, I will tell you, the news is not for the faint of heart, right? It's not for the faint of heart. Someone told me, and I won't mention their names, but someone said, before I turn on the news, I make myself a good stiff drink just to get through the news. I won't mention your name, Gino. I promised I wouldn't, and I won't. I'm joking. Wasn't Gino. So this unraveling is happening, I think, in our nation right now. This unraveling is happening so that the possibility of what is true and authentic and most loving about our nation can rise up. That's why I think this unraveling is happening. It's almost like we are seeing the shadow side, but it's no longer in shadow. It's present and it's here and it's front of our face. And so those of us that identify ourselves on the spiritual path, I say that because I believe everyone's on the spiritual path, but that those of us who identify ourselves on the spiritual path have a deep responsibility now, I think, like we've not had in history before. And you know what? For 19 years, I have never said this from the pulpit. Never. And I'm going to say it this morning. I'm going to say it because I think it's necessary. I think you and I, as Americans, have a responsibility to look at the candidates that are up for re-election in November and to see which candidates support our spiritual call. This isn't political. It's which candidates support our spiritual calls. Which candidates talk about making whole. Which candidates talk about an inclusiveness of all Americans, which is what our country's founded on. Let's do our research and simply know which candidates reflect our inner call. And then vote. See if you are registered to vote, because I understand sometimes if you've not voted 2 years consecutively, you might not be registered. And vote your voice. Vote your spiritual practice. Vote your spiritual call. The second thing is I invite you to the great work that our community is doing, which I am so proud of. In the racial equality program, we have our own page on our website, and we're doing a lot of activities. We mentioned earlier we have Friday movie night on last Friday of the month. And we have every other week kitchen conversations Wednesday night that Gino facilitates, and Gino and Viraj facilitate the once a month movie night. And we do these specifically so we can learn the experience of what it means to be black in America today. So those specifically are about that. However, I think the most important requirement or call that is imperative for you and me to do is to do whatever action is necessary to connect with the inner presence, the infinite presence. Humanity is requiring of us this now. Experience yourself as whole, as immersed in the unconditional, radical experience of God's love. Make that priority. Feel so connected with this inner source that it flows and exudes from you into everyone you meet. And the more of us that do this, the more we will transform this nation into a nation of compassion and inclusiveness and loving kindness. Brothers and sisters, we're being called now to do this spiritual work in a way that we've never been called before. Join me. Join me in doing this work. So I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. I'm going to invite you to breathe right into your heart. Feel within your heart an opening, an expansion, a call to make whole, a call for radical hospitality, a call that experiences the divine saying to you, all I have is yours. Hear that in your heart. Hear that rising up from your soul. I'm going to read again the reading that Sherry Ganan read earlier. Love is within us. It cannot be destroyed. It can be ignored. To the extent that we abandon love, we will feel it has abandoned us. Denying love. Denying love is our only problem. And embracing it is the only answer. Through the power of love, we let go of the past history and we begin again. Love heals, forgives, and makes whole. So breathe into this moment right now and feel yourself being made whole. All those alien parts coming together. Hear the divine speaking personally to you. All I have is yours. And we just take a deep breath and we let it be. So it is.
I am what I am. I am my own special creation. So come take a look give me the hook or the ovation. It's my world that I want to have a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey world, I am what I am. I am what I am. I don't want praise. I don't want pity. So, my deck. Some call it noise. I think it's pretty. And so what if I love each feather and each spangle? Why not try to see things from a different angle? This life is a sham till we can shout out loud, I am what I am. I am what I am, and what I am needs no excuses. I deal my own deck. Sometimes the ace, sometimes the deuces. It's my world, and there's no return and no deposit. One world, and it's time to open up your closet. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey world, I am what I am.
Tim Algerberger, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. Such powerful speakers, singers I'm right next to here. So I love this part of our gathering in that I get to read letters from individuals of you to the rest of you. And so I'm really happy today to read to you a really great letter from Jaime and his wife Liliana Castano. So it's my pleasure to read to you a letter from them. So here we go. Dear spiritual community, 18 years ago when my wife and I moved to sunny Southern California, we spent several years searching for a spiritual community that would speak to our hearts. We found Centers for Spiritual Living, which met our expectations, an all-inclusive, non-sectarian, and non-doctrinal place where the focus is on finding the truth inside. After visiting a number of centers, we settled for Universal Spirit Center because we felt Reverend Kevin was truly gifted and consistently inspiring. We know he's being inspiring when we get goosebumps during his talks. So there they are. There's Liliana and Jaime, and that is their niece who is visiting them, actually staying with them for a while, Maria Jose. So we acknowledge all you guys. So the weekly service are our spiritual anchor. They remind us every week to go inside, where we will always find peace, balance, clarity, and truth. It is where we realize who we truly are and that everything has purpose and that we are all one. That's right on, guys. That's right on. Since we live some distance from where the center is located, when the services were held in person, we enjoyed our Sunday gatherings through the video recordings. And since we're all online now, we didn't have any problem adjusting to the new format. In fact, we feel quite connected to Rev Kevin because during his talks he looks steadily into the camera, and we view him on our large screen and feel constant eye contact, which is enjoyable. Whether in person or online, we know that it costs money to run the center. We have kept our level of contributions consistent throughout the years and through this transition to online services. We know that 100% of our contributions go for a good purpose. I can't think of a better place to put our donated money. We support our center through monthly automatic donations, withdrawals. This works well for us because it removes the weekly decision making and creates more consistent contribution. The Centers for Spiritual Living have to continue, Universal Spirit Center has to continue. This type of community is the hope for a more conscious world. We feel that global awakening is crucial for the survival of our planet and for all who inhabit it. Thank you very much, Jaime and Ileana. So I invite you to support the work that we're doing. The work that we're doing on the planet to make whole, to experience a world that works for everyone, for all people. So I invite you to place your hands over your heart. Go ahead and close your eyes. And just take a minute and consider something that you're grateful for. What is it you're grateful for? Maybe it's the person sitting next to you. Maybe it's your full, deep, healthy breath. Maybe that's you're part of a loving, thriving spiritual center. So whatever it is, just feel that in your heart. And from this place of gratitude, I ask you to give out. So if you would repeat after me. As I give, I receive.
As I give, I receive.
As I receive, I give.
As I receive, I give.
Universal Spirit.
Universal Spirit.
Happening is me.
Happening as me.
And so it is.
So it is. Gratitude before me. Gratitude behind me. Gratitude to the left of me. Gratitude to the right of me. Gratitude above me. Gratitude below me. Gratitude within me. Gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me. Gratitude behind me. Gratitude to the left of me. Gratitude to the right of me. Gratitude above me. Gratitude below me. Gratitude within me. Gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful.
And so I invite you to take a deep breath in. Place your hands over your heart and feel the energy. Feel the energy of an open heart. So in your mind's eye, imagine that we're all together, that we form a big circle, and we're welcoming in all who join us for the first time this morning. And imagine that we're together and that we join hands with each other. So feel the love in this sacred circle. Feel the love in the hands that you hold. And we issue forth an invitation for all beings to join us, regardless of apparent divisions. We just feel a huge welcome, a huge call, a welcoming call. And so we've got a pretty big circle right now. All beings holding hands with each other. And imagine that beings of light and sages and saints and our ancestors are joining us in this circle. A mighty, powerful circle of love. And imagine that in the center of our circle is our beloved planet. And so imagine in your mind's eye this planet. And let's send to our planet the experience of wholeness, of love, of blessing. Let us know that divine presence dwells in, through, and as all beings. And join with me in knowing this as together we say, and so it is. So it is. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I want to give another special shout out to Gino on our anniversary today. Thank you, Gino. Linda Ely on piano. Thank you, Linda. Tim Alberger with all of your great songs. Thank you. And behind the scenes, we have Sarah Adams and we have Corey. Thank you very much. Thank Lori Martin for making this set happen. We're so grateful to you for doing that, Lori. And thank all of you for joining us, for supporting us. And thank you for liking us on Facebook and sending us to friends and neighbors. So have a blessed week. Have a safe week. God's blessing to you, and we'll see you next week. Bye.